What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus, and welcome back to the Save Point Podcast for this week. We're going to do it much as we have over the past couple weeks, kind of break down what I've been up to, kind of find a centralized topic in that, and go from there. So to start of what I've been watching, really not much. Better Call Saul, obviously watched this past Monday. I didn't do a review of it, but oh my dear God, that was quite an episode. I suggest, by the way, if you guys have not, if you watched Breaking Bad, I find it hard to believe you haven't at some point watched Better Call Saul. But if you've never watched either of them, Better Call Saul is a fantastic, fantastic show. Just different than a lot of the things obviously you would find on TV. Obviously much different from like Disney Plus things or Netflix stuff. It's a quality television show that I love to death. And then Halo. And Halo's weird because obviously I keep doing the reviews of it every single week. And this last week, I don't agree with the people who thought it was the best episode. I don't agree with people thinking that this was the episode that pushed the series in a good direction. I think it's right back to being what I always thought it was being, and that's a not good television show now that got met with its fair share of hate on the review, and that's totally cool. I know it's controversial to say those things, I guess, about it. I know that I don't think I'm the only one saying negative things about it. I'm also not the only one who thinks that it's the show it just isn't flat out, just isn't all that good. But you'll have people that say whatever. One of the things that I found is funny though is I said in that review I don't expect action nonstop throughout the entire like every single episode, every single part of every single episode. Although Halo, the game, what we know of Halo is kind of like all-out war, humanity on the brink of destruction, and having to fight for their lives, and that's the centralized core of Halo. And so obviously fighting is a lot to do with it, and I get that you can't do that in a television show, but to have zero anything all the time except for two different scenes, or maybe three if you count one specifically, is pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. And the people that say, well, it's you literally can't expect or to want or to hope for action every single second of every single episode is juvenile, I think the one person said. I mean, I never said that, but people think what they think. I'm not having fun. I am having fun. I was going to say, well, I'm not having fun watching it, but I'm having fun going through this journey. Part of it, or actually a very good deal of it, stems from that the reviews actually do amazingly well on this channel. I'm shocked every single week that we're able to pull the numbers of that sometimes it's the best video of the entire week on the channel, and that's compared to gaming news or movie news or other stuff that people know me from. And so I'm enjoying that aspect of it, that it seems like people, it doesn't, all of the videos do relatively well in terms of likes versus dislikes. I haven't been blown out of the water one single time, so I'm very happy to report that. But you'll have your fair share of negatives each week, and that's fine. That's fine. But I we got three. I think this was episode 6. We got 7, 8, 9. We only got 3 more weeks, and it's over. And then what will people that hate me do with themselves? I don't know. So those are the only 2 things really I've been watching. I haven't caught up on Moon Knight. I haven't watched episodes 4 or 5 yet. I got to catch up. Obviously, in just a few, I'm looking at the calendar, few weeks, 4 weeks? 4 weeks, well, when I'm recording this, 4 weeks today, I believe, is Obi-Wan. So that'll be something. I don't know if it'll be spectacular, but it'll definitely be something. And maybe we can do the reviews of that on this channel. I always debate which channel to put specifically TV show reviews, because sometimes like Halo, they do really, really well. I probably should have done the Halo reviews on the main channel, and sometimes they do really, really bad, like Mandalorian, Better Call Saul. So I think it just depends on what show it is. Obi-Wan seems like it's going to be pretty big, so we'll see which channel gets the review and go from there. In terms of playing games, I've all but abandoned every single game known to man except for Telltale's The Walking Dead. So this past Sunday, so not like almost a full week ago, it was the 10-year anniversary of Telltale's The Walking Dead. I did a video just kind of, saying how much I appreciate it, how much it pushed the industry forward, stuff like that. And I decided that night, I've done the essay series, which some people just don't get notified of my videos, which is very annoying because I've done 2 what I'm very proud of, essay videos where I write a script. It's not me just talking like this. I actually am focused. I have titles for each section of this video, and I write myself a script, and we kind of just go through what makes a game special even now. Like, does it hold up now? And I've done that for Life is Strange, season 1. I've done it for What Remains of Edith Finch. The What Remains of Edith Finch one did really well. YouTube just randomly showed it to like everybody, but they weren't people that I think were already on my channel. And Life is Strange did not do so good. So long story short, I wanted to do one on, I'm going to, or maybe I already have, depending on what day this is, Telltale's season 1 of The Walking Dead. So I played it through, and then at the time I'm recording this, I've started the script. I'll probably finish it soon after this. And then I was like, well, I want to do a video on that, but I also, in my mind, I remembered loving season 2. I didn't remember so much of where season 2 stacked up in my head of quality, compared to 1 or compared to seasons 3 and 4. And then I also remember it taking a real big, I remember hating season 3 at the time. I thought it was like a joke, a sick joke. And then season 4, I was more excited for season 4 than like probably any other season. And there were some very emotional moments in that season with Clementine, but I also think about it now as being maybe the most forgettable of any of the seasons. So in my mind, the Telltales The Walking Dead, and it became Skybound, right? It rose and then it fell. And so I wanted to do, or I still want to do, kind of a massive essay video on all 4 seasons and the journey that they took us on and the quality level and where that quality level went. So long story, even longer. That was my plan. So I started season 1 of Telltale's The Walking Dead this past Sunday, beat season 2 last night, Thursday night when I'm recording this. So I just beat season 2, and then I'll start season 3 and season 4 soon, and then we'll get those videos going. But let me just do a sneak preview for you. Well, number 1, I'm working on that video for just season 1. And then the second video will be all 4 seasons. Season 2 is spectacular. Season 2, I remember liking a very good deal when it came out. Again, I just didn't remember how the quality it's so good. It's about as good as you could ever expect a sequel game to be, where it maybe isn't better than season 1, but because you have to expand the world a little bit more, obviously what they did with Lee, right, shifting to Clementine, like you had to do a lot of different stuff. You had to make us like an entirely new group minus Kenny, who who already knew, and every element or every scenario you find yourself in is always amplified, right? It's more amplified than in the first game, and they did about as good of a job as humanly possible, I think. So I have renewed respect for season 2 and them. It just sucks that I remember, and I don't think this is going to change much. I remember season 3 just being all over the place. Obviously, taking it away. Clementine's in the game for like 40% of it. That was a huge mistake. I remember like yelling at my TV saying like, why would you do this? Why would you take her away and make her the lead? I get it because like season 1, I actually didn't remember too well. I've played season 1 like 4 times now. She's not in it all that much. I mean, like Lee is the main character. You could very much argue that Kenny is like the second lead. Clementine is in it, and she has her moments where she's in it a lot, primarily episode 1 and parts of episode 5, but she's actually gone a very good amount. It's because she's supposed to be 8 years old at the time, right? You can't put too much on her, but she's really not in 1 all that much. So maybe they thought, well, people aren't going to want to play as her as the lead 2 games in a row, season 2, season 3. But again, season 4 going back to strictly Clementine and recreating 1 with Lee, Clementine, AJ is all you really need to know about that they knew they messed up with season 3. They knew that they needed to take it back to making Clementine the lead. And again, season 4 being that mirror of season 1, it nowhere near as good because AJ is not as good as Clementine, and Clementine being a Lee character, I just don't think necessarily works all that well. So again, I'll see how I feel about 3 and 4. I played season 1. I've played it 4 times in all, counting this past week. Season 2, this was only the second time I've ever played. I've only played it once when it first came out. Season 3, same thing, only played it once when it first released. Season 4, only once when that first released. So that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been planning in my head in terms of videos. The other thing I guess to talk about this week is that there was finally some news stories. We had things like another hint at the Last of Us remake, being happening in terms of I think there was a job posting or something on Naughty Dog that said that they're remaking something. So that doesn't necessarily, it could mean Uncharted. In fact, the rumors of Uncharted getting a remake are pretty high that it could happen, and maybe they're doing The Last of Us and an Uncharted 1 remake. Could be. I don't like either of those ideas all that much at all, and as I've said, I don't want The Last of Us remake, but does that mean I won't get it? I mean, we'll see. I probably will end up getting it, so I'm all talk. But no, so that we had that. We had just news stories in general. We had Skull and Bones stuff that happened this week. This was a better. Oh, we had the Xbox Bethesda announcement for June 12th. Their E3 substitute showcase, right? So this week we finally started to get more stuff. It was still mind-numbingly boring. There was just not much going on day to day. There's a couple stories, each day to kind of help it. And we've talked a lot about this. I don't know if you guys are getting bored of this idea, but it's something that, obviously I'm passionate or I'm into. It's been rough. April has been a very rough month in terms of consistent news. May, I do think, is going to pick up quite a bit. There's a couple more. The thing with May is, like, Lego Star Wars was a big game in April, but it was April, 4th or 5th, and it was like I guess MLB The Show was also the same day, but Lego Star Wars was the biggest one, and then since that date, the next 3 weeks, there was absolutely nothing, and nothing that could even come close to the punch. Not necessarily quality. I mean, you could have an indie game, a very small indie game that can be better than any of these AAA. But I'm not saying that, but in terms of just there was nothing that could match the punch of like a big release like a Lego Star Wars. There's also nothing in the entire month, in my opinion, of May that can match Lego Star Wars. So really, it's Lego Star Wars, and then you have to wait all the way until June, in my mind, for like the Quarry and the Mario Strikers and all that. Like that's the next wave of actual bigger stuff. I guess there's technically Nintendo Switch Sports, which will be gigantic for Switch players just in general, but not necessarily, I would imagine, the industry. Also, it's not getting the best reviews. It seems like kind of a watered-down version of the Wii one. Now, I'm actually getting it as I'm talking. It comes tonight through through Amazon, so I will be playing it just to kind of see what it is. But it hasn't had the most press. It hasn't had the most excitement to it. So May, its job is it doesn't have any big games that can match Lego Star Wars, but it can match in terms of like it's got games spaced out a little bit more, right? We have that Trek to Yomi game this upcoming week. You have Evil Dead, I believe, the week after. A game like Sniper Elite 5 comes out at the end of May. I mean, none of these games are Evil Dead. I do think can be gigantic, but besides that, there's really nothing that is massive, but at least they're spread out and at least they're semi-interesting. And May will be the month that we get all of the June stuff and we start to get some of the fall stuff. I mean, again, we just had that now with the Xbox Bethesda thing, so now we can place that. I assume, well, I would want Sony to announce something in May for June, or if they want to do something in May in general, you can do that, right? Just starting to fill in, like, can we get an EA thing? I know EA said they're not doing it, but can we get a specific presentation for, like, a couple of games from EA? Is Ubisoft going to go? Skull and Bones is going to get a release date pretty soon, and that's actually confirmed by Ubisoft. So, next month, could we probably get a release, next month, early June, could we probably get a release date for Skull and Bones? Hopefully. So, hopefully May, not just with games, obviously you have movies too, right? Doctor Strange, Bob's Burgers is at the end of May. So you have a couple big movies, and then gaming-wise, again, it's a little bit more spread out, but also May, I guess, hopefully can just start to fill in the gaps of, okay, what's coming in June, what's coming in July, in terms of like showcases or games, I guess. And then when we get to those showcases, those presentations, that will fill us in August through December, and then hopefully even starting to go into next year. It's been a weird year. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's been a weird year for gaming. It's been so quiet compared to really any of the last 2, 3, 4 years. This is probably by far the weakest. Not in terms of game releases. We've gotten some of the bigger games of the last like half decade, but in terms of like Elden Ring and doing what Elden Ring did, right? That doesn't happen every year. So we've had that, but we've also had very little of what's to come like we know a lot of what's to come over the next like 2, 3, 4 years. And okay, Sony's doing these kind of projects, or Microsoft has 500 games that have code names, right? But like what, like, but we haven't seen them, right? Or like BioShock, like we know there's a BioShock 4, but we still haven't seen it, and it probably comes out within the next year or two, but we haven't seen it. Just all of these kind of unannounced games that we know are happening. And again, there's been big like Kingdom Hearts 4, that's kind of a big deal, but that announces itself, and then it's going to go dark for months, or months being generous, maybe years if you're a skepticist of it. But no, so hopefully things start to pick up. Obviously the Johnny Depp trial I've been covering, and that's I told my wife, I said that's been like the thing. I'm very thankful that court case is happening, because if it wasn't happening specifically for the main channel, I don't know. There's been weeks in April where there's been literally nothing, and if I hadn't been covering, and I'm not doing the trial like because of that, because it's the only thing, I was going to cover it no matter what. I didn't think I was going to do it daily, but I did know I was going to cover it. But it's become a thing where it's like, well, it does views. People like it. People like the honesty. People like the passion, and I'm into it. I mean, every single day, Monday through Thursday, I wake up, and as my daughter's getting ready for school, and as literally I'm doing everything throughout the day, I'm watching it. I'm literally just watching it, whether on my phone or on the computer. And we still have we have this full week coming up. Then we have a week off, and then we either have one more week after that or 2 more weeks after that. I can't find a definitive answer. The most people that say is 1 week after, but I don't know, because I just don't know how that makes sense. But I'm not opposed to that. If you want to go this upcoming week, first week of May, take 1 week off, which we do know that's for sure happening, and then end it that 3rd week in May, that is more than fine with me. I have other stuff to do, and as May ends and as June begins, you know, gaming and all that stuff hopefully comes back full swing. And then in June, there'll be like Scream stuff again for Scream 6. So I got the whole months planned out. So let me know what you guys think. Anything that I missed, any news stories, big news stories this week that I just flat. I mean, I've made videos every day on Podcast Now on this channel of any, you know, remaining news stories that exist in the world that come out. There's normally only like 1 or 2, and so I cover, you know, the big ones that happen because they're the only things that happen. So let me know. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, so you guys know when all these videos go up. I hope to see you all on tomorrow's video.